All right, welcome back with a quick little news of the day video here. Not my traditional news of the day setup if you're used to watching my channel, but it's exciting news nonetheless. Before I get into it, I just want to remind you guys that I uploaded my DPC power rankings right before this video if you want to check that out. It's the last one of the second tour. It's going to be the last one for the next few weeks until tour number 3. So if you don't want to miss it, feel free to check that out. However, in that video, I will preface, I talked about a few things in there, mainly stuff about the major that are not going to be as relevant now that we have this information, but regardless, it should still be a fun watch. And that information is coming out from ESL One, the tournament organizer for the Stockholm Major, which is going to be starting out on May 12th, which is very exciting news regarding the whole situation with the uncertainty heading into this major, mainly with some of these regions that were having a pretty shaky time in the second tour. For example, China having that huge COVID outbreak near late March to early April. They, of course, had to take a couple weeks off. They were able to finish their tour, but there was a lot of speculation about whether or not those teams were actually going to attend this major. There were rumors that they were going to skip major number 2 and just go straight to the third major of the year right before TI. Those have been confirmed to be false by ESL One, noting that all top 4 teams from China will in fact be attending the major, those being PSG LGD, Extreme, Aster, and RNG. So again, that makes that whole tiebreaker scenario with Vici Gaming a little bit more weird. But regardless, nice to see that those teams are heading there. Again, if China wasn't going, that's 4 teams out of the 18 teams. That's a pretty big chunk, especially with Eastern Europe, who also just straight up did not have a second tour due to the unfortunate circumstances going on in Ukraine right now. But we have received some news on what's going to be going on to make sure that this is going to be a fair system for every team involved. And really, that's all I was hoping for. With the silence that we've been having for the past few weeks from Valve, I was getting a little bit nervous, but trying to stay optimistic that they learned their lesson from earlier on in the year where they dropped a bombshell on everyone about the first major being canceled. And I was really just hoping that whatever they came up with would end up being fair for every team in the DPC. And every team in their own region. Because you could think about it, if Valve was being lazy about this or the TO was being lazy about this, they could have just kind of screwed everyone over. For example, if they had just taken the first 3 teams from the previous tour from Eastern Europe and just had them automatically qualify. It would have been a lot quicker, it would have saved a lot of matches, but it would have kind of screwed over a lot of the other teams in Eastern Europe who didn't have a chance to prove themselves and potentially qualify for this major. It also would have screwed over teams coming from the lower division like BB Team and CIS Rejects, who just straight up never had an opportunity to make it to this major. It would have also been a little bit of a blight against some of the teams in other regions who had to compete to make it to this major, whereas these Eastern European teams would have just had it handed to them. So I'm glad that's not what the case is. Instead, we have a huge double elimination bracket with an additional 3rd slot bracket here that's going to be taking place very soon. As of recording this, it is the night of April 26th. I'm on the Western Hemisphere. But regardless, this is going to be starting very, very soon, with this tournament starting April 27th. So tomorrow, by the time you're seeing this, it's probably already April 27th. There are probably games already started, and it's going to be going throughout the next 6 days from April 27th all the way until May 2nd. And of course, the start of the major is May 12th, so that'll give a nice little buffer for the teams that do qualify to make it to Stockholm. So how this is going to be going is every single team is going to be slotted into the upper bracket of this double elimination bracket here. And they are going to be seeded based on where they ended up finishing in the previous tour. For example, Team Spirit, the first place seed of the previous tour's upper division, is going to be playing against the second place seed from the lower division, aka the lowest ranked team, BB Team, which was previously known as Windstrike. They released their roster, and BB Team was the one that picked them up. Following that, we have Hellraisers and Na'Vi. That is going to be the 4th place seed playing against the 5th place seed. We then have Outsiders, previously known as Virtus.Pro. They're still on Virtus.Pro, but for this major, they're not going to be representing Virtus.Pro just due to their ties to the Russian government. So they're going to be having to play under an alias. That's going to be Outsiders. Playing up against CIS Rejects, the 1st place seed from the lower division of the previous tour. And finally, PuckChamp versus Mind Games, which PuckChamp is the 3rd seed from the previous tour and Mind Games is the 6th seed. And throughout the next few days, the winners of these series are going to be moving on to round 2. And notably, if you win your first series in the upper bracket, you automatically qualify, no matter what, for the additional slot if you don't end up getting a qualifier slot right off the bat. However, if you lose your first series and you drop down the lower bracket and you lose once again, you are totally eliminated and you will not be qualifying for the major. And in fact, you will be getting relegated from the upper division. So it's going to be crucial for these teams to get off to a good start. If you lose your first 2 series, you're down to the lower division. However, if you make it anywhere past this line right here and onwards, you're automatically qualified for this additional slot qualifier if you don't already get one here. And the rest of the bracket plays out like a traditional double elimination bracket. One thing to note is that all of these series are best of 3s. Traditionally, in a double elimination bracket, the grand finals are best of 5s. That is not going to be the case. Every single series is a best of 3. And so the top 2 winners from the upper bracket, the winner of that series will automatically qualify as the first seed for the major, and the loser of that will have another opportunity in the lower bracket finals, and the winner of that qualifies as well. And if you haven't already made a qualifier slot from there, and you were not one of the 2 losing teams in the first round of the lower bracket, again, you are automatically slotted into this 4-team bracket where the winner gets the 3rd qualifier spot. I haven't yet talked about the new major format. I'm going to be doing that very soon, but seeding no longer matters for the major. The seeding in the region from 1 all the way through 8 only matters now when it comes to handing out DPC points, which are going to be continuing to stay the same as they are for every other region. So again, maintaining that balance, maintaining that fairness that we are really hoping for. So very exciting stuff here. And again, this starts very soon, April 27th all the way to May 2nd. These matches are going to be taking place. And this is going to be a hell of a fun series. I remember a few weeks ago, and you guys may recall this as well, when we weren't sure if the DPC for Eastern Europe was actually going to start up or not. We were about 2 weeks in, and we had heard from Valve that they were not going to be willing to start the tour in Eastern Europe unless teams were, 1, able to play their matches on a flexible schedule in a very short period of time, and 2, that any team participating in that DPC tour would be able to attend the major. And given the fact that we have all 8 teams playing in this bracket, that leads me to believe that all 8 teams here should be able to make it to the actual major in Stockholm should they qualify, which is very exciting. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, this is super, super exciting. I'm so stoked to watch this Dota. It's going to be incredibly volatile. Again, the 2 losers of this round right here are getting relegated straight to the lower division. That could be any team. That's just 2 series that could just completely destroy your second tour. And I'm just so stoked. And I'm, again, really, really glad that we have some fairness in the DPC. And we have 3 teams heading to the major, as well as those Chinese teams, which means we're going to have all 18 teams that we're supposed to have at the first major, which is super exciting. So I pass the question off to you guys now. Who do you guys think makes it to the major from this region? I think the easy picks are Outsiders, aka Virtus.Pro, Team Spirit, of course. But past that point, do you take CIS Rejects? They looked really, really good. PUBChamp has also looked really good at times. Hellraisers, I think, fell off a little bit. But again, it's been several months since we've seen these guys play. These could be completely different teams by now, and that's why I'm so excited for this. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And once again, Power Rankings, the last one of this tour, has been uploaded just before this video. So if you want to check that out, feel free to in the link down below, as well as the source for everything I talked about in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and more content to come throughout the next few days. And yeah, thanks for watching.